Good Lord's the only one that knows. I'm not a religious freak. They told me.
Yeah.
Oh, busy. Keep it busy.
Did you have a good day at school today?
Okay.
Awesome.
How'd you hear your drink too? I told her that it was my turn today. Oh, is that what it is?
Good evening. Pastor Coverstone, could you please give the invocation?
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Council. Everyone, would you please pray with me? Well, God, we thank you for your good gifts in our lives, and we come together tonight to do the business of this city and are grateful as we come that you have given us life and breath and health, as well as the ways that you've individually gifted and called each one of us and given us the capacities and the ability to do what you've called us to. And we confess that we are often tempted to think otherwise and to ignore and forget those gifts. And so we give you thanks tonight. Lord, we thank you for these new firefighters and pray that as they begin their service here in Freeport, that you would bless them with wisdom and strength and safety. And of course, we don't ask it just for them, but for all of our first responders and city employees and department heads and this council, the mayor and all that work in her office. Lord, we pray for them as well, for wisdom and strength and safety. And Lord, we pray that for the purposes of this city, you would grant good planning and blessings on the efforts that are made in that good planning. Lord, as spring is just around the corner and the busyness of summer, Lord, we do pray that the plans that are being made for the warming and what happens with it would go well, and that you'd bless us in the year still ahead. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. And we'll officially call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you please take the roll?
Mayor Miller.
Here.
Alderpersons Clem.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Simmons.
Here.
Parker.
Here.
Stacy.
Here.
Shadle.
Here.
Sanders.
Here.
And Sellers.
Here.
If you could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Alderman Johnson.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We would just like to take a moment this evening to observe a moment of silence for the passing of Reverend Jesse Jackson, a civil rights leader for more than 6 decades. Thank you. Item number 1 is the approval of the agenda, and we will be including executive session tonight. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
The motion made by Alderman Shadle, seconded by Alderman Clem. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Next, we have some swearing-ins. We'll start with
This is Brady Schofield. He's one of our new firefighters who we're swearing in tonight. He's from Orangeville. He's a Marine veteran.
Wow.
And,
God bless him.
All right.
So, all right. You can raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Brady Schofield,
I, Brandon Schofield,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of firefighter
of the office of firefighter
according to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability. Jason Flynn. Jace comes to us from Lena originally, but he was also a firefighter, an EMT in Byron prior to Freeport.
All right. Jason, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Jason Flynn,
I, Jace Flynn,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of firefighter
of the office of firefighter
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Oh, wow, that tastes so good. Wow.
Matt Thomas, he's from Freeport. He doesn't have any first responder background, but we're gonna teach him and get him going for us. So,
All right. Awesome.
All right, you can raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Matthew Thomas,
I, Matthew Thomas,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois.
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
I will faithfully discharge
of the office of firefighter
of the office of firefighter
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Ah. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. All right.
So this is Donovan, it's Upsall, right? Upsall. Upsall. He's from Winnebago. He does have some EMS background and, he's coming to us and we're gonna get him trained up also. All
All
four of
right.
these, recruits will be going to the Romeoville Fire Academy starting March 2nd.
Oh, okay.
About 9 weeks.
All right, Donovan, if you can raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Donovan Gonsalves,
I, Donald Norfolk,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of firefighter
of the office of firefighter
according to the best of my ability.
for the best of my ability.
All right.
I was gonna say, they could leave. Their family.
Yes. You don't have to stick around.
Wow, everybody is there. Wow.
All right, which flavor do you want before all this begins? Okay. Okay, we'll move on to item number 3, which is public comment. We have one that the clerk will be reading in this evening.
This was received via email. To whom it may concern, I, April Lenore, on behalf of myself and Patricia Lenore of 711 East Pleasant Street in Freeport, formally report a severe infestation of raccoons and other vermin in our area. Over the last year alone, I have paid to have trapped 38 raccoons, 16 opossums, and 4 skunks. This has resulted in a significant financial burden, including a removal fee of $50 per animal and a total of $800 spent on traps to help manage the issue. Additionally, we spent additional funds on labor and materials to block off the area underneath our deck. I have multiple videos available to provide as evidence of this ongoing problem. A major contributing factor is the lack of proper waste management and the behavior of some neighbors in the area. Garbage is not being stored properly, which attracts more animals, and some residents are even feeding these wild animals as if they were pets. The situation has escalated to a point where it is no longer just a nuisance, it is a serious health and safety risk. Just 2 days ago, I encountered a raccoon face-to-face during daylight hours. We currently feel it is unsafe for our children to play outside or for our elders to enjoy the garden. I hope the city can take immediate action to address this problem and ensure the safety of our neighborhood. Thank you for your time and attention to this urgent matter. Sincerely, April Lenore.
Thank you. That concludes public comment. Number 4 is the consent agenda. The consent agenda is considered to be routine in nature and acted as one motion unless there's a member of council that would like to have something removed for further discussion. The consent agenda consists of approving to receive and place on file the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners minutes from December 23rd, 2025, the building permit report and fire department report for January 26, Greater Freeport Partnerships report from January 26, approval of the finance bills payable in a total of $1,406,976.13, and for approval of payroll for pay period ending February 7th, 2026, in the total of $718,450.74. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
A motion made by Alderman Shadle, seconded by Alderman Sellers. Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Johnson,
Aye.
Simmons,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Shadle,
Aye.
Sanders,
Aye.
Sellers,
Aye.
and Clem.
Aye.
The motion passes 8-0.
Item number 5 are appointments. Could you please read those?
Appointment of Elaine Enriquez to the Arts and Culture Commission effective through August 31st, 2029. Appointment of Police Chief Jacqueline Frausto to the Ethics Commission effective immediately.
Thank you. If it pleases the council, we'll do this in one motion.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion made by Alderman Clem, seconded by Alderman Johnson. Any discussion on the appointments? Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Johnson,
Aye.
Simmons, Parker,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Shadle,
Aye.
Sanders,
Aye.
Sellers,
Aye.
and Clem.
Aye.
The motion, it passes 8-0.
Item number 6 is the second reading of ordinance 2026-06. Could you please read this?
Ordinance amending Part 10, Streets, Utilities, and Public Services Code, Title 6, Other Public Services, Chapter 1060, Waste and Recycling Collection and Disposal, Section 1060.07, Temporary Dumpsters, Trash Containers, Trailers, Construction Trailers, or equipment used for construction projects, including trailers and wagons, use on public ways, and Section 1060.12, construction debris, containers, collection of the codified ordinances of the City of Freeport.
Thank you. Mr. Stekel.
Yes, we discussed this at the last council meeting. This is simply ordinance revision to allow for protection under dumpsters to the new street areas. We've seen some damage to the investment we're making in streets with dumpsters being placed and or dropped, probably not purposely. Again, I did talk to Gill's Disposal before drafting this ordinance, and they were on board with the changes that we wanted to make. There is, as a reminder, there's no permit fee for dumpsters. However, people are not abiding by getting a permit, so we can track this situation. In 2025, there was only 4 permits that were issued.
Thank you. Discussion on this ordinance? Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Johnson,
Aye.
Simmons,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Shadle,
Aye.
Sanders,
Aye.
Sellers,
Aye.
and Clem.
Aye.
The ordinance passes 8-0.
Item number 7 is the second reading of ordinance 2026-07. Please read this.
Ordinance amending various provisions of Part 10, Streets, Utilities, and Public Services Code, Title 4, Utilities, Chapter 1042 and 1046 regarding water and sewer connections of the codified ordinances of the City of Freeport.
Thank you. Manager Boyer.
Thank you, Your Honor. We went over this at the February 2nd meeting. This is upgrading some common sense connection fees for water and sewer. We haven't revised this in over 9 years, and it is necessary to recapture some of those costs that have been eroded away in inflation. So staff recommends moving forward with this ordinance.
Thank you. Discussion? Darren?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment, this ordinance is not going to affect probably 90% of our clients that are already connected to the water and sewer. This is in effect to people that are not connected to our sewer. And there's always been connection fees involved with new homes or new properties connecting to water or sewer systems. So I just want to make that clear. I saw some posts that seemed confusing on it, but this really won't apply to 95% of our users already.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Johnson,
Aye.
Simmons,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Shadle,
Aye.
Sanders,
Aye.
Sellers,
Aye.
and Clem.
Aye.
And that ordinance passes 8-0.
Okay, we have item number 8. However, we do need to have an addition to Amendment A. The addition are 2 things, a 2006 Vector truck and a 1977 Holiday Rambler office trailer. So we'll just need to have a motion to make that amendment to add them to the list.
So
There's-
moved.
Second.
We have a motion made by Alderman Shadle, seconded by Alderman Sellers. Is there discussion on that addition?
What is the addition again?
We have a list. It's called the Exhibit A. There's a list of items, and there are 2 that needed to be added before we pass it. And one is a truck and one is a trailer.
Oh, okay.
Madam Clerk, could you please take the roll on the Mr. Siegel?
I just have one correction. I believe the Vector truck is a 2003.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I not say that?
I believe you said
I'm sorry.
2006.
You're right. It's 2003.
Yes.
Madam Clerk, could you please take the roll?
Johnson,
Aye.
Simmons,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Shadle,
Aye.
Sanders,
Aye.
and Sellers.
Aye.
Oh, and Clem.
Aye.
The amendment passes 8-0.
Okay, so now item number 8 would be the second reading of ordinance 2026-08 as the amended ordinance.
Okay.
I don't think I read it. Should I probably read
did
that in the
not,
record?
yes.
Okay. Ordinance authorizing sale, recycling, donation, and/or disposal of certain personal property owned by the city. Tonight, we have Public Works Department equipment and Alberta's airport equipment.
Thank you. Manager Boyer?
Thank you, Your Honor. As we discussed, there's a surplus inventory. We need to have authorization to move forward to liquidate. We'll do that through auction site Wisconsin surplus and staff request moving forward with this surplus ordinance.
Thank you. Discussion? Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Johnson,
Aye.
Simmons,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Shadle,
Aye.
Sanders,
Aye.
Sellers,
Aye.
and Clem.
Aye.
The ordinance passes 8-0 as amended.
And item number 9 is the first reading of ordinance 2026-09. Could you please read this?
Ordinance amending Chapter 873 and 664 of the Codified Ordinance of the City of Freeport concerning the licensing of mobile food trucks.
Thank you. Director Heimerdinger?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The City of Freeport supports food trucks and the roles they play in our local economy. However, the current ordinance has created confusion, particularly regarding distance requirements from restaurants and overall licensing regulations. In response, the staff has reviewed Chapter 873 and are proposing amendments to clarify standards and improve administration. Key updates include establishing a clear $50 annual licensing fee, requiring renewal applications 30 days in advance, and clarifying that food trucks must remain at least 200 feet from restaurants without permission. This distance is measured from the nearest outside wall of a restaurant or the nearest inside wall if multiple businesses share that building. The amendments also clarify that trucks may only operate on occupied properties with permission and strengthen eligibility requirements, establish clear enforcement provisions for violations. These changes support public safety, fair compensation, and competition as well, and align with the city's strategic plan with implementation funded through licensing fees and fines without impacting the general fund. Staff recommends moving to a second reading and approving the amended Chapter 873. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion to move this forward?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion made by Alderman Sellers, seconded by Alderman Shadle. Discussion on this ordinance. Alderman Stacy.
Who would this affect?
This will only affect people, those who are wishing to have a food truck and need to be licensed to operate in the city of Freeport.
So if they came from out of town,
They would need to get a license,
and that license is good for how long?
a 1-year term. And they need to, and then for the renewal, they need to apply 30 days before their license is up.
So where this said, so the first year they get a license,
Mm-hmm.
if they're coming in July, they have to get this license by June, a month in advance?
For renewals, they need to, if they're going to renew their license, they can't have it expire. They need to apply. They need to renew it within 30 days.
So if they come and they get a license in June, they can start in June.
Yes.
Alderman Simmons.
So if they don't do it the 30 days ahead of time, what happens? Like
If they-
can't get it, or does it go?
If they don't do the renewal,
Right.
so if they don't renew, then they just do a new food truck, and so it'd just be a longer process. So we'd have to, vindicate everything and go through the entire process. So the renewal is just they come in, we check that they don't have any issues with the renewal process, and then they can be applied.
Madam Clerk.
No, new and renewal are exactly the same. We ask for the same things every year. They need to provide proof that their truck's licensed and that they have insurance.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Alderman Stacy.
What is the price for renewal?
$50.
So it's 50 for
Either
a
way.
license or 50
Yes.
for renewal?
And that's for the entire year. We'll move on to item number 10, which is the first reading of ordinance 2026-10. Could you please read this?
Ordinance amending Title 10, Employment Provisions, Chapter 290, Compensation and Benefits, Section 290.01 D3 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Freeport regarding classification plan.
Thank you. Manager Boyer?
Thank you, Your Honor. The City Public Works team is requesting the creation of a new position for the department. At this time, we're requesting the creation of a Public Works Environmental Health and Safety Operations Coordinator. This would not be a new position. This would essentially be a change of an existing position, which is now the Environmental Compliance Officer position. So we'd be adding additional duties to this role. As part of our strategic realignment, the Public Works Department is reevaluating these key responsibilities to improve collaboration and unite the team. Creating an Environmental Health, Safety, and Operations Coordinator role will enable the department to effectively manage the day-to-day operations under the direction of the Operations Superintendent for the lab, operations, and maintenance personnel while continuing to lead environmental and regulatory compliance for the Utility Operations Division. This change will facilitate greater departmental collaboration and enable the division to appoint a new add this safety coordinator position duties to this role as required for our compliance. So staff recommends moving forward with the creation of this new position.
Thank you. Is there a motion to move this forward?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion made by Alderman Shadle, seconded by Alderman Johnson. Discussion on the ordinance. Alderman Stacy?
Is this a union position?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Is this a union position?
No, it is not.
Would you like?
Yes, I'm trying to understand. Is this what was brought to us pertaining to the gentleman that already does this, that needed to have someone back him up if he needed time off?
This is part of it. So in lieu of replacing the operations superintendent for the utility, we've come together as a group, and we feel that it's in our best interest to have to add additional duties to two existing positions. One we passed a meeting or two ago for the the operations foreman. So that's one part of this, and the second part of this is adding some duties to this role, which is also non-union, but would be taking on more responsibility.
Was the operation foreman position union?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Stiegel?
This position is currently exempt, so non-union, and the city has the need to add the safety coordinator position. We need to have a safety coordinator. We currently don't. Randy does a lot with compliance and regulatory requirements for us and would be very good at the safety coordinator spot. So she'll cover all of Public Works and the utility, which currently has kind of been an ad lib position where a handful of people have been trying to do it, but it hasn't been done very well. So our team agreed that this would be a nice position increase for the person that already has it. So it's, again, not an additional position, but just giving somebody more duties and responsibilities within our current structure.
Okay. We'll move on to item number 11, which is the first reading of ordinance 2026-11. Could you please read this?
Ordinance granting a variance from the requirements of Section 1268.07A concerning location of accessory structures at 1219 South Sealy Avenue.
Thank you. Director Heimerdinger.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Staff received a variance request for 1219 South Sealy Avenue in Freeport to allow a replacement accessory garage to remain closer than the required 10-foot separation from the home. The original garage was damaged by a fallen tree and was rebuilt in the same location through an insurance claim. Because prior zoning laws did not require the current 10-foot separation, a variance is needed under today's standards. The Zoning Board of Appeals recommended approval by a 4-0 vote. The Planning Commission recommended approval by a 5-0 vote. Staff presents this request for your consideration and asks the council to also consider a suspension of the rules, as this request has already been reviewed by 2 commissions to avoid further delay for the homeowner.
Thank you. Is there a motion to move this forward?
So moved.
Second.
The motion made by Alderman Sellers, seconded by Alderman Shadle. Discussion on this ordinance? Alderman Parker?
Motion to suspend the rules.
We have a motion to suspend made by Alderman Parker. Is there a second?
Second.
Was that you, Greg? Alderman Shadle for the second. Suspension of the rules is non-debatable and must pass by 2/3 majority. So, Madam Clerk, could you please take the roll on the suspension only?
Johnson.
Aye.
Simmons.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Stacy.
No.
Shadle.
Aye.
Sanders.
No.
Sellers.
Aye.
And Clem.
Aye.
The suspension passes 6-2.
Thank you. So now before you, council, is the final for this ordinance. If there's no further questions, concerns, Madam Clerk, please take the roll on the passage.
Johnson.
Aye.
Simmons.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Stacy.
Aye.
Shadle.
Aye.
Sanders.
Aye.
Sellers.
Aye.
And Clem.
Aye.
The ordinance passes 8-0.
Item number 12 is the adoption of Resolution 2026-15. Could you please read this?
Resolution approving purchase of Neptune water meters from Ferguson Waterworks.
Thank you. Manager Boyer.
Thank you, Your Honor. We're restocking our water meters. We need about 100 new meters. The total cost is about $14,000, and this exceeds, discretionary spending limits for myself. So we're bringing it to council to move forward on, and staff requests moving forward with this purchase order.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt?
So
Second.
Okay, motion made by Alderman Shadle, seconded by Alderman Clem. Discussion on the resolution?
Just a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Are these for homes?
yes.
Okay.
Ms. Stacy?
Was this budgeted?
Yes.
And it was stated that this was being budgeted for this reason?
Well, we have like a dollar amount that we budget for valves, meters, pipe, all kinds of materials. So this falls under that budget item. Yes.
Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Johnson.
Aye.
Simmons.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Stacy.
Aye.
Shadle.
Aye.
Sanders.
Aye.
Sellers.
Aye.
And Clem.
Aye.
The resolution is adopted 8-0.
Item number 13 is the adoption of Resolution 2026-16. Could you please read this?
Resolution approving a licensing agreement with Syndio Networks for pole attachment and conduit occupancy.
Thank you. Manager Boyer?
Thank you, Your Honor. Syndio, I believe that used to be JC Wi-Fi. No, I'm sorry. Arrow. I'm sorry. Arrow. We've got quite a few of these anymore. They have rented the downtown city poles for use of their fiber optic cables for many years. Their agreement had expired a number of years ago, and we've been working very diligently with the new company that bought out Arrow to renew this license agreement. So this is essentially a continuation of what we have been doing with an inflation escalator built into this new contract. So staff requests moving forward with the approval of this contract with Syndio Network.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt?
So move.
Second.
A motion made by Alderman Sellers, seconded by Alderman Shadle. Discussion on this resolution? Alderman Stacy?
What would be the main purpose for them adopting the city poles?
They had essentially installed their fiber years ago on the city light poles, and it's still there and still being used. We had an agreement that expired a number of years ago, and it took us quite a while to get that resolved because the Arrow went under new management with Syndio. So this is a new agreement with Syndio. So
So, okay, I'm trying to understand, what does it do for the city?
We receive, I believe it's what, $50 a pole per year for the, is that right?
I believe the rent is $25 per pole per year, and then it has a 3% cost inflator every year over 5 years. The main purpose of this is a lot of the businesses in the downtown area originally had Arrow internet because it was high speed before they were there. That connectivity was, there's a map in the agenda that shows that connectivity was gone through the city concrete poles. But the absolute most significant thing that they do is they provide 24/7 broadband to the ESB at the police station. So they are part of the 911 center, and that is the main reason that network was built out. So that line is currently the main feed to the ESB.
Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Johnson?
Aye.
Simmons? Oh, I'm sorry. She is absent currently. Parker?
Aye.
Stacy?
Aye.
Shadle?
Aye.
Sanders?
Aye.
Sellers?
Aye.
And Clem.
Aye.
The resolution is adopted 7-0.
Item number 14 is the adoption of Resolution 2026-17. Could you please read this?
Resolution approving the purchase of turnout gear for the fire department from Dinges Fire Company. Did I say that right? Dinges?
Chief Gordy?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Since 2023, the department's been exploring replacement turnout gear. And in this case, what we're talking about is the heavy coat and pants that they wear internal in the fire. Most of our current gear was purchased about 8 years ago. But in the last few years, we found out that a lot of that gear has the PFAS chemicals in it that are cancer causing. So we formed a turnout gear committee to try and find out what was the best brand and make that was out there. The committee, after going through multiple different manufacturers and vendors, have recommended the purchase of Lion brand V4 structural firefighting turnout gear. Our current plan then is over the next 6 years that we're going to purchase 16 sets every 2 years. Instead of having one big bulk purchase, we're going to try and step it out. That way it'll also help in the next 10 years when we have to come back and do this all over again. Plus, it also allows us to reevaluate what we're currently purchasing. And if there's anything any better coming up over the next couple of years, we can go to that brand or that manufacturer. So currently, the department's requesting approval to the resolution of the purchase of 16 sets of Lion V4 structural firefighting turnout gear from Dinges Fire Company from Amboy. The replacement will take place in, like I said, in phases. Each set of gear cost $4,465. So what we're asking for is a purchase not to exceed $75,000, which again goes above the spending limits, so that we have to come and make a request. This brand or this vendor is a Sourcewell vendor, and we're asking to move this forward.
Thank you, Chief. Is there a motion to adopt?
So move.
Second.
A motion made by Alderman Sellers, seconded by Alderman Shadle. Discussion on the resolution? Alderman Stacy?
Was this budgeted in your budget for this to happen this year?
Yes, it is. It comes out of our capital improvement fund.
And how long are these outfits good for?
NFPA says 10 years.
10 years. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Johnson?
Aye.
Simmons?
Aye.
Parker?
Aye.
Stacy?
Aye.
Shadle?
Aye.
Sanders?
Aye.
Sellers?
Aye.
And Clem.
Aye.
The resolution is adopted 8-0.
Item number 15 is the adoption of Resolution 2025-18. Could you please, I'm sorry, 2026-18.
Resolution authorizing memorandum of agreement with the Federal Aviation Administration, or the FAA Facilities for incorporating runway 24 MALSR, which is a runway alignment indicator, into the National Airspace System at Alberta's airport.
Thank you. Manager Boyer.
Thank you, Your Honor. The city has a continuing agreement with the FAA to operate the city-owned airport. That is time to renew that agreement. It expires September 30th, 2026, and therefore new MOA is required to extend the agreement so that we can continue to operate the airport. The MOA under construction is a 20-year term expiring in 2046. The MOA allows the FAA the right to maintain FAA-owned navigation, communication, and weather-aided facilities, grade and install drainage facilities, seating, and remove obstructions. So city staff recommends moving forward. There is no cost impact to this. It is just an agreement with the FAA. So staff recommends moving forward.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt?
Second.
Alderman Clem? Motion made by Alderman Clem, seconded by Alderman Sellers. Discussion on the resolution. Alderman Stacy?
You said this is a 20-year commitment
Yes.
and it costs the city nothing.
No, it's no cost to the city. It's just an agreement between the city and the FAA that we're going to operate under FAA rules.
So if it ever got to the point where they could not meet our needs, then what?
Well, essentially, this allows us to operate legally under the FAA. So if we aren't working with the FAA, we don't have a legal airport.
Okay.
Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Johnson,
Aye.
Simmons,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Shadle,
Aye.
Sanders,
Aye.
Sellers,
Aye.
and Clem.
Aye.
The resolution is adopted 8-0.
Item number 16 is the adoption of Resolution 2026-19. Could you please read this for the record?
Resolution approving an agreement with iWork Systems.
Thank you. Director Sutman.
Thank you, Mayor. Council, this is an agreement for all of our iWork modules, software that staff uses. A little bit of background, and we started a relationship with iWork in 2018. I think it's been highly successful. We've seen a lot of efficiencies through using their software. Over the years, we started getting piecemeal modules here and there. So we ended up with like 3 or 4 agreements. The main purpose of this was to get that into one agreement so we can pay it once a year, keep track of it better. This agreement happened to coincide with our desire to get 2 new modules added. So we thought, while we're consolidating, let's get it all in one. So that's what you're seeing in this agreement. There is a cost increase this year over last year of about $22,000. That's because we've added the new modules. The $69,100 will be split up between city funds and water and sewer, because there's the facilities management portion on there. And staff recommends moving forward with this agreement.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
A motion made by Alderman Shadle, seconded by Alderman Sellers. Discussion on the resolution. Alderman Stacy?
You said it was about a 22,000 increase this year?
Yes, we added some automation tools for our community development
Mm-hmm.
and some additional features for them, and then a licensing module.
Is it going to be an increase yearly? As things change as fast as they do?
If I would assume if things are added to it, it would. Otherwise, I'd expect it to go up with inflation, but not drastically. But I can't predict the future either.
Is this drastically 22,000? Is that considered drastically?
I don't think, because we're adding features.
Okay.
If it was just a jump of 22,000, I'd have major questions. If it was the same feature set.
Okay.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Johnson,
Aye.
Simmons,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Shadle,
Aye.
Sanders,
Aye.
Sellers,
Aye.
and Clem.
Aye.
And that resolution is adopted 8-0.
Item number 17 is the adoption of Resolution 2026-20. Could you please read this?
Resolution approving an agreement with Greystone Construction for the purchase and construction of a salt storage shed.
Thank you. Manager Ware.
Thank you, Your Honor. The city has 2 salt sheds that are in really bad condition. Kurt, I don't know if you can put those pictures up for the projector. Are they up there? No. Okay. Well, as soon as we get the projector going, then we'll be able to look at those pictures. But essentially, we have 2 pole barn style sheds that are falling apart. Actually, they're unsafe, and they're going to fall down eventually in a very short order. So staff, knowing this, has been working on replacing the salt sheds. Obviously, we've known for a little while that we need to replace them. We have looked at 3 different manufacturers and worked with all 3 to kind of get the best analysis of how they're built and the best layout for the city. We've decided on an 80-foot by 126 bright span Atlas building. This package includes 12 inches of aggregate base, civil site work, and grading, concrete foundation and base, concrete foundation, piers, rebar, mats, and basically the structure. The total cost of the salt shed is $833,795, and the building will hold up to 4,400 tons. And to give you a context, that is about basically 1.3 years worth of salt on hand. Currently, because of the small size of our salt sheds, we take deliveries as needed. Sometimes when it's a cold winter and we have a lot of snow, our supplier actually has to prioritize who gets salt, and sometimes we don't get as much as we want. So this will enable us to have an entire year's supply on hand at any given time. This was included in the capital improvement plan as in the budget, and staff requests council move forward with the salt shed.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
A motion made by Alderman Shadle, seconded by Alderman Johnson. Discussion on the resolution. Alderman Sellers.
Yeah, with this shed, you're also making it that big for a little storage too, aren't you? Are you storing anything else in there besides just the salt?
No, salt's corrosive, so anything we put in there would be subject to that corrosion. However, this will give us operational flexibility when the salt deliveries come in. If they're on a tilt, like a large truck with a tilt bed, the trucks will be able to fully tilt up and dump the salt in there. Currently, we don't have enough overhead space to do that. So when a salt delivery comes in, they basically dump it on the ground, and then we have manpower with moving it around and getting it put back in the salt shed. So it'll actually streamline operations to some degree as well.
Okay.
Alderman Stacy.
Would you ever order 3 years worth of salt at one time?
No.
Oh,
I think you misunderstood. It was 1.3 years capacity.
oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Alderman Shadle, did you have your hand?
I did. Just curious, if this includes demolition of the existing, or are we just going to have somebody like maybe hit it with a feather?
I'm going to leave that to Darren. I think we guess
So
operation.
this quote does not include demolition. The city staff decided that we're going to use our own crews to do demolition of the buildings because they're in such bad shape. So we're going to recycle the steel, and we're going to just, dispose of the wood. And then we have the ability with the clam truck and stuff to remove the concrete ourselves to kind of sweat equity, save some money, to try to bring the cost down. Very expensive building, and we know that, but it's very needed, and we wanted to do everything possible to make sure that we could get this facility this year. I really believe that by the time we empty the buildings, they'll probably fall over.
I looked at it, it's extremely bad shape.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Alderman Stacy.
Is this down on Island?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Johnson.
Aye.
Simmons.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Stacy.
Aye.
Shadle.
Aye.
Sanders.
Aye.
Sellers.
Aye.
Clem.
Aye.
The resolution is adopted 8-0.
Item number 18 is approval of a bid. Could you please read?
Bid opening on February 4th, 2026 for HVAC preventative and service maintenance for equipment at 7 city-owned locations.
Thank you. Manager Boyer.
Thank you, Your Honor. So for the past 3 years, we've had a company doing our contract HVAC work for just City Hall and for the police department. That has been problematic, and we worked very hard this time to make sure that our bid was written very specifically to cover, we could calculate all the costs and we weren't getting hit with high uncalculated increases from the supplier. We also added several locations to this bid, including the facilities down at Island. And so staff moved forward with the bid opening, and Helm was the most responsive bidder. And staff requests with a total cost of approximately, let's see here. Bear with me one second here. $77,703. Sorry, didn't see that. So staff recommends moving forward with this bid from Helm.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
A motion made by Alderman Shadle, seconded by Alderman Sellers. Discussion on the bid. Alderman Stacy?
So do I understand this contract to be saying 1 year is 60 compared to 3 years being 77?
No, that's incorrect, but I think Darren can speak to that pretty clear.
As what's listed in the memo, year one's cost is the 60,314. Year two is 69,708, and year three is 77,703. So that's the total cost of the year for the preventative maintenance and all labor included. We did this as a 3-year. The city has the right or option to approve a 3-year bid, and then we can opt out at any time that we want to, year to year. It's written in the contract that we can opt out if we feel that service isn't what we thought it would, if we decide we can't afford what we're doing. Based on the evaluation of how many units are in this bid, it's a very good price, and the current contract we've been under has been very insufficient over the last 3 years that we've been dealing with a lot of problems with it. That's why we did an RFQ, request for qualifications, and Helm's packet that they submitted was far superior to the other packets that were submitted as far as the details and the things that we asked for regarding each facility in Freeport. So I would like to tell you that the city went away from an all-inclusive package of many years ago. I would say Michelle could tell us, but I think it was about 4 years ago we went away from an all-inclusive package like what we're suggesting here, and that cost was over $100,000 a year that we were paying at that time for all the labor included and all the PMs and everything that are out here. I was scanning my memo here, and we have 168 touch points of heating, cooling, exhaust fans, things like that within this contract. It's a lot of units to maintain within the city of Freeport. And to be frank with you, we don't even have a good inventory of the condition or status of the things that we have currently. So, one other thing I'd like to throw out is there's refrigerant law changes that happened here in 26. And so as units become aged, because of the new refrigeration laws, if they have anything to do with air conditioning, they won't be able to be repaired with the current refrigerant. They will have to be converted to new units because the EPA no longer allows the installation of that old refrigerant.
Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Johnson?
Aye.
Simmons?
Aye.
Parker?
Aye.
Stacy?
Aye.
Shadle?
Aye.
Sanders?
Aye.
Sellers?
Aye.
And Clem.
Aye.
The motion passes 8-0.
Item number 19 is another bid. Could you please read?
Bid opening on February 10th, 2026 for the tree removal for the year.
Thank you, Manager Boyer.
Thank you, Your Honor. City has identified 31 dead or dangerous trees within the city. We do this every year. This year we received multiple bids, 4 bids, with the winning bid being tree landscaping of Economowalk. They are the low bidder at $68,187,000, and this is budgeted in the forestry budget. Staff requests moving forward with accepting the bid from Tree Landscaping Company.
Thank you. Is there a motion to
So
approve?
moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Shadle, seconded by Alderman Sellers. Discussion on this bid. Alderman Stacy?
The company that gets this bid or these bids, they will have the necessary license and paperwork required by the state to do these jobs. Am I correct?
Yes, all the companies will be a licensed Freeport contractor with the appropriate liability coverage.
Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Johnson,
Aye.
Simmons,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Shadle,
Aye.
Sanders,
Aye.
Sellers,
Aye.
and Clem.
Aye.
The motion is approved 8-0.
Thank you. Another bid opening.
On February 11th, 2026, there was a bid opening for sanitary sewer cleaning for 2026.
Manager Boyer?
Thank you, Your Honor. Each year as we prepare for our road projects and our water main replacements, we also evaluate our sanitary collection system before we move forward with any other work above ground. So this year we had solicited for bids for cleaning and televising corridors within the city that we're going to be working on. It counts for about 20,000 lineal feet. The low bidder was National Power Rodding, a company we've used in the past and has been good. And they are the lowest responsive bidder at $76,784. And that's actually below engineer's estimate. Staff recommends moving forward with this bid.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
A motion made by Alderman Shadle, seconded by Alderman Johnson. Discussion on this bid. Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Johnson,
Aye.
Simmons,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Shadle,
Aye.
Sanders,
Aye.
Sellers,
Aye.
and Clem.
Aye.
The motion passes 8-0.
And item number 21 is another bid opening.
On February 11th, 2026, wild animal trapping bids were opened.
Thank you, Manager Boyer.
Thank you, Your Honor. So many times throughout the year, we get requests of residents of Freeport that have issues with raccoons or skunks or various large marsupial animals. And the city ordinance does not allow for us to trap. We simply, the ordinance allows our animal control officer to deal with dogs and cats. With that being said, with the number of requests that we've had, staff solicited bids for basically an exterminating contract for up to 20 of these types of problematic calls. We received one responsive bidder, Night Sight Solutions, and the total cost per trap is going to be $300. And that'd be $6,000 annually, and we'll do it on a first come, first serve. And we will also be we'll be looking at the surrounding areas. So if you live in the woods, we're not going to be sending a trapping company out to capture possums. This is simply just to deal with the emergent issues that come up from time to time. And so staff recommends moving forward with this bid from Night Sight Solutions for a total of $6,000.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Sellers, seconded by Alderman Shadle. Discussion on this bid. Alderman Johnson?
So currently I understand the city doesn't pay anything or doesn't do any of the trapping of any wild animals. Really, we're not doing anything for that right now. Is that correct?
Right. It is not allowed by ordinance, and we have no qualified individuals who have the proper ability to do that.
Alderman Sellers?
I do want to say also in this trapping, I think we need to look at our community development on some of the garbage, and because that's what these animals feed off of, where people have just throw their garbage in the back or throw their garbage on the porch or whatever. But these animals have gotten really out of control. I know one day I thought it was a dog, and it was a raccoon. It was that big. So, and it was 10:30 in the afternoon, in the morning. So I do see that there is a big problem in the community area where people live and children play, so.
Mr. Siegel?
Yeah, I just want to add one point of context. So in the memo, we talked about this is going to be a co-op program. We're not, as the city, just going to go out and remove animals. There's going to be a co-op cost with any resident that wants to do it. First of all, animals on private property present an issue, and we're also going to require a hold harmless agreement to the city because it's on private property, like a temporary easement as well, just because, we have to be cautious and protect the city at all lengths when we do this. And I specifically talked to Night Site Solutions. This is a gentleman that is a very responsible person. He's a licensed trapper in Wisconsin and in Illinois. He works for the Rockford Fire Department, and he's planning on retiring. And this is kind of his next part of his life for work, and he likes doing it. So one of the things I'm concerned with this is kind of the story that Dovey had wrote before, that people think this is generally as simple as just tramping one animal sometimes, when there might be a family of raccoons living under that deck. So we need to be cautious as we move forward with this, and very selective in the uses that we do with this.
Thank you. Alderman Stacy?
So is this saying it would cost the customer or the person that's in need of the service $300 per trap?
In this case, it's a co-op, so that $300 cost would be split 50-50 between the homeowner and the city if approved.
The homeowner in the city
would split the $300, and that price from Night Site is per animal trapped.
The 6,000?
300.
What's the 6,000?
That was the annual estimated cost to the
I thought
city
you
of
said
Freeport.
annual, but okay.
Yeah. Which I did some cost comparisons about 3 or 4 months ago. Rob asked me to call around and get some prices because we had quite a few complaints about how much this trapping was costing. Because there's very limited people that are actually licensed to do this. And the cost that I got from numerous calls was double this.
Is there something we can change? Oh, I'm sorry.
Sure, go ahead.
Is there something we can change in the ordinance that will be more supportive in the city with this? I mean, Miss Lenore is very concerned. 38 raccoons, 16 possums, and I didn't get how many skunks.
Yeah. I mean, I think the idea here is to start with something and see how it goes, and then go from there.
But would that be something the city would consider?
We don't have a licensed trapper.
Right. That's the issue right there, is what she said, is we do not have a licensed state of Illinois licensed trapper on staff, and that has to be happening to be on private property.
So you're saying the ordinance could not change?
I don't believe our ordinance, our city ordinance, could allow us to trap on private property. I don't believe that would be the case. That would be a question for the attorney.
That is correct. We can only enter onto private property if we have some kind of permission from the landowner, or if there's a recorded easement that would allow the city to come on for some maintenance aspect. So without permission, we just can't enter onto the property. Unless it's an emergent situation like a fire aspect, then obviously we can.
Alderman Johnson?
I see here it says a single emergency call out less than 40-hour time is $200. So that'd be above and beyond the $300.
Yeah, so
$500 if it was an emergent situation.
in my research, most of these animal problems are kind of ongoing, and it's not like something that's a fire. And so 48 hours seemed to be a reasonable time for them to respond. If somebody it's dire and they can't wait 48 hours for the trap, yes, then there is an additional $200 emergency fee to break this person away from their other work.
Thank you.
Okay.
One
Oh,
question.
yes, Alderman Sellers.
What if the animal is dead? So who picks that up?
In the right of way, the city of Freeport picks it up.
Okay.
On the private property, it would be this
This
trap.
guy. Okay, and that would be 300. That would be $150 then, just picking up a.
This
You don't know yet.
It's a great question. I might have to define that. I don't believe he would charge us for an animal that was already dead. This is
Okay.
catching animals like this and baiting them in traps takes time.
Yes, it does.
And effort, and there's always safety risks with different kinds of things like rabies and things like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Director Sutman, can you check the video feed? We keep getting it's blacking out. The audio stays on, but the video is blacking out.
That's what I'm seeing.
Okay. Thank you. If there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk, could you please take the roll?
I have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So once we exhaust the number of calls, can you just bring it back to council and then maybe we can renew and add more? Or I think, is that what you were getting at? Maybe could we increase the number of calls or just bring it back once we?
I think it's really a starting point.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah, I think the whole point was we've not done it before. Let's go ahead and try it. Let's put a cap on it so it doesn't get out of hand. This is an unbudgeted item that we're going to have to look at other areas within a budget to pay for. So I just wanted to make sure that it was bookended and we weren't, moving forward with something that gets out of hand.
Mr. Teagle?
Yeah. So in the bid, we did ask for a price over 20 to kind of lock it in the bid if we choose to do more. And he gave us the same price for 21 through whatever. So if council determined that there was a greater need here, it would still be the same price.
But I think we need to also remember Alderman Seller's point of, enforcement of garbage and things that draw those types of animals in. It's kind of a dual piece there. So it's a starting point.
Yep. Clean up your yard.
Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Johnson.
Aye.
Simmons.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Stacy.
Aye.
Shadle.
Aye.
Sanders. Oh, he's absent. I'm sorry. Sellers
Aye.
and Clem.
Aye.
The motion passes 7-0.
And item number 22 is another bid opening.
On February 12th, 2026, we opened bids for demolition of 1300 Business Route 20 East, or the former Holiday Inn.
Director Heimerdinger.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Last month, on January 20th, 2026, I provided testimony on behalf of the City of Freeport at the Stevenson County Courthouse regarding the formal Holiday Inn at 1300 Business 20 East. This property has been in the court system for years, and based on all the testimony and supporting evidence, the court ultimately ruled in favor of the city, determining that the structure is not suitable for rehabilitation, is a life safety hazard, and ordered the demolition of the building. Following the court's decision, the Community Development Department moved forward with the demolition bid process. The bids were publicly bid. Addendums were issued to clarify scope and requirements, and a walkthrough was held on February 11th so contractors could review site conditions. Bids were open on February 12th, and the city received 6 competitive bids. The lowest responsible bid was submitted by Elburn Sons Earthworks in the amount of $169,700. The other 5 bid totals and contractors can be reviewed in the memo attached to tonight's agenda. This project will be funded through the Demolition Fund and represents an important step in removing a long-standing, unsafe structure and preparing the site for future redevelopment that will generate new investment, support future businesses, and increase revenue for the city. The city will be seeking developers, and I encourage anyone interested to contact me at 815-235-8221. And finally, I'd like to take a moment to thank my team. Doug, John, Ben, Elizabeth, Sadie, and Katie, as well as our city attorney for their dedication in bringing this long process to resolution. We are excited to see what the future holds for this property, and staff recommends approving the bid from Elber and Sons Earthworks.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion made by Alderman Shadle, seconded by Alderman Sellers. Discussion on the bid. Alderman Stacy?
If we accept this, how long is that building going to continue to sit? Or, better yet, when would the process start and what is estimated completion date?
That's a great question. In our bid documents that were signed by the contractors, it says 25 days for the complete demo of the building. So that means 25 days from the time that they receive the go-ahead to get started. If it takes longer than that, because it's a pretty big structure, they will need to submit to us an extension and give us proper reason for why that extension is necessary. Something that we are in the play with is that we would like to have this building down by the time that we are due back in court in April. So that's kind of the target, is to have it completely down so that we can move forward with the next steps within the court system.
Completely down by April?
Yes.
Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Johnson,
Aye.
Simmons,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Shadle,
Aye.
Sanders,
Aye.
Sellers,
Aye.
and Clem.
Aye.
The motion passes 8-0.
Item number 23 is discussion on viaduct project updates. Alderman Stacy and Simmons.
Okay. Several community members have expressed concerns regarding the lack of progress on the viaduct project. On behalf of these citizens, I am requesting answers to the following questions. Why is the project currently at a standstill? What is the project's completion date? In the event of a fire or medical emergency, will EMS be able to reach the arcade area efficiently? 4, the approved permit from 2024 was pulled from this project after being approved for 2 years. When was the permit for this project pulled? By whom was the permit pulled? And for what reason was the approved permit pulled? Who has had direct communication with Canadian National regarding this delay? Why was the council not informed of the permit being pulled and of delay the process would cause? What is the status of the road the city was supposed to pave for residents' use west of the water treatment plant on Hancock? And what is the current status of the Hancock Bridge, and how long is it expected to sustain the extra overflow traffic?
Alderman Stacy, you were given answers to every single one of these questions last Thursday prior to your request to put this on the agenda. So from that point, there is no other updates.
Okay, Mayor Miller, I was given maybe 5 of the 8 questions. However, the constituents are wanting to hear it from Director Boyer or Director Stiegel. I don't care which. I received 5 to 8 calls in the last 3 weeks on this matter. Did I pick back up the phone and make 5 to 8 calls? No, I put it on the agenda so they can get it firsthand directly from the horse's mouth. Now, is that a problem? Requesting that, asking that, is that a problem?
Like, you already know the ordinance. You have the ability, 2 aldermen have the ability to put anything on for discussion. My point was that last Thursday, prior to the agenda, you knew all those answers.
I did
So,
not
Director
know all
Stiegel,
those
would
answers.
you like to address any
I
of
did
those?
not know
Just to-
all those answers because all those answers were not asked.
I'm happy to answer them all. Yep. So the current project is at a standstill. The reason it's at a standstill is because we're at winter construction conditions and frost is in the ground. The reason we're at the standstill that we're at is our franchise partner, Nicor, had a 2-inch high pressure gas main that needed to be relocated under the pavement. Unfortunately, since the notice to proceed, they didn't complete their project till October of 2025. They hit a water main. They also hit a sewer main and created a large repair in that area. The city is a franchise partner with Nicor, and we don't control their construction crews. And this relocation was at no cost to the project. So the timelines that they establish per the franchise agreements are what the public has to deal with on the relocations. We can't control Nicor. We can only work with them. Additionally, CN owns all of the property that this project is going to be done on or is being done on, and they have the full authority to open, close, and permanently remove this access at any time they want to. CN actually has more authority than the city, and then in the rank of the railroad, they have more authority than anyone in probably the state of Illinois to do whatever they want with their facilities. Currently, it's expected the project will be completed in May before June of 26. If I was going to give you a date, I would say June 1st of 26 it should be done. And the reason for that is the asphalt plants do not open up till usually the end of the first week of May. And so we're not going to get pavement down to that point. The fire medical emergency, the Public Works Department has worked with Chief Miller, and the fire department has a plan in place and alternative routes established to get to this area. Unfortunately, there's only one access point through the Hancock Bridge, and that does deter for the rails, so they have routes around north to get there. I've discussed that with them thoroughly when we did the project. That's the best the city can do at the time. I would like the city council to know that before we even undertook this project, I tried to get a new above rail crossing so we didn't ever have to deal with this again, and that was turned down in whole. CN's not adding any above ground crossings on any rails due to liability issues. So this was really our only choice. The approved permit being pulled. CN provided a permit access for 1 year. The public flagging, which is required with these projects, paused the project in December of 25 at the end, December 28th of 25. CN sent me an email asking for more information on the excavations on the water and storm, which we provided them numerous response in the month of January, and then they reissued permits on February 4th to Helm Group, which is the contractor on the project, who's had communication with them during the project. Myself and the Helm Group project manager have had communication with Canadian National throughout. I'm the one that got involved in January to make sure the project could continue to move forward because I want to see it get done as well as everyone else. I also take tons of phone calls on this constantly. Unfortunately, this is what happens with public relocations of utilities. They're not always timely. We have to deal with the ICC and the regulations that go along with these types of utilities. Why was the council not being informed of the permit being pulled? Other than rumor statements, I have nothing in writing to inform you that they've been pulled, other than that they asked for more excavation details on the water and storm in coordination with their abutments. So that's why nothing was afforded, because nothing's going to move forward and be finished until May of 26, because it's impossible to get hot mix asphalt to open the road up. So I think that answers most of those questions. Hancock Bridge. The Hancock Bridge is still rated for 80,000 pounds. So semi-traffic can go over that every day, all day long. It is, the deck and rating are in poor condition, but they're still a 4 of 9. That's why it's on the replacement schedule for the deck and the railings. 4 out of 9 means that there's advanced section loss, deterioration, spalling, and scouring deficiencies. IDOT is fully aware of this, and that is an IDOT bridge, as long with the city of Freeport. It passed the 2025 inspection, and it is on, hopefully, the July letting to bid for the new bridge, which would mean maybe a fall or spring start for the replacement. Until that project can commence, there's nothing we can do but patch the deck and the railings. One of the holdups on the bridge, which I didn't inform council this either, but the railings on the bridge are considered historical monuments. They were cast in place when the bridge was originally built, and it has been going through a 6-month review through the Historical Society to decide if they want to keep the railings or we can demo them, which is out of our control again. That's the IDOT process. And since IDOT's giving us nearly $2 million for the project, we have to follow their process through and through, or we forfeit the money. The status of the road to the west. So the road to the west was a conversation that we had with the fire department about trying to get emergency access back there in case something happens to the Hancock Bridge. That crosses private property back at the old depot of Ultrasonic. We don't have passage to cross their premises, but they told us in an emergency they would let us through. So that's the backup plan if the bridge goes out. Currently, we have an access through inertia for the fire department in an emergency, an ambulance in the emergency, or semi-traffic that is overweighted has been permitted to use that passage since the wastewater treatment plant project has gone underway. And to my knowledge, it's been being used monthly at, I would give inertia a thank you for allowing us to use that, because they didn't have to, but they wanted to cooperate. And I can't guarantee you that the bridge will bid in July, but currently we're trying to ramp everything up to get it to that point.
Okay. So I understand that it doesn't open to the end of May or sometime during May, and we're hoping for completion by June 1st. So, with the understanding that hopefully we have received in writing that the permit is back.
I have emails from CN that they authorized the flagging permits to Helm to submit. Yes, that happened on February 4th.
Okay, so if they can get out there and finish doing what they need to be doing, will it be filled up with gravel and open back up until it can be paved?
Only if the city wants to pay the additional cost to fill it up and dig it all back out, because that's not in the scope of the project. And unfortunately, with the weather conditions of winter, we cannot have the asphalt plant turn on again before about the end of the first week of May is usually the typical time it opens. So if we as a city want to, if they can even get out there and finish it, because we got to let the frost get out of the ground, we would have to pay to fill the whole thing with gravel, and then we'll have to pay to remove it all and waste it. And I mean, that's the council's choice.
And what kind of expense is that?
I would have to ask for an expense. I'm guessing $15,000-$20,000.
Unfortunately, there's always inconvenience when you have projects that you're dealing with. So, let's move on to reports of department heads. Finance.
Not yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you.
I just want to be clear that in an emergency situation, if there's a train stopped on the tracks, rather than going all the way around 26, emergency services have permission to use the inertia way.
They can cut the locks and go. They have bolt cutters and they can cut the locks and go through. That was our agreement with inertia. We'll have to repair anything that's damaged, but yes.
Finance,
Nothing this evening, thank you.
community development.
I just like to, since we're talking about pest control, please take your garbage to the street the night before with your toters, and then make sure that you grab it, make sure you pack it tight, and then make sure that you pick your toters and you put your toters back to where they belong in your house, wherever you have deemed on your property they need to sit, not on the roadway, not in the right of way. But we just, please help us keep the keep animals that we don't want in here out, and everybody enjoying their lives and can walk safely and play in their yards. Thank you.
Public Works.
Sure. A couple updates. When I left tonight, 2 of the chargers down at the Douglas lot are now live and working. Other 2 I need to get a couple warranty parts for, and the other section is going to get commissioned. Hopefully in the next 2 weeks. We're waiting for that schedule. That'd be at the state lot. So that's good news. We also received, Michelle and I received confirmation on getting all the CJA money and all the ComEd money back. We actually got confirmation of about a third of the payment already from ComEd. I would also like to let everybody know that the 2026 street projects led by the city, we have 3 packages coming out. The first one should be going out to bid around the last week of February, and then there'll be one each week concurrently for 3 weeks. So we'll have lots of bids coming through. Also, we appreciate the approvals of the salt building. It's a much needed facility for the street department. It's very deteriorated.
How is it known on apps that we now have 2 chargers that are live?
Great question. I looked before I came, and I don't believe it was live, but on the ChargePoint site and on the car maps, once this is fully commenced and opened, they'll actually be on the maps for people that have EV cars when they need to charge.
Who's they?
People that own EVs, or who will put it up?
Yeah, how does the app know?
ChargePoint and Thayer, who was our partner in building them, is loading all that information into the maps. So like right now, if you went to ChargePoint, it has a question mark over Freeport. That's because they knew we were coming, but we had to shut them off before commencement. So now that they're turning on, I don't know if they'll be on the map tomorrow, but they should be on in a couple days is what good people told us. So
thank you.
Yep. Interesting, on the app, it should tell you how many are available, should tell you how many are in use, should also be able to tell you, maybe like it gives a time frame, as in charging. So like when one would be available if they're, all utilized or something like that. So I have had a lot of calls over these charging units, and very, very much a lot of excitement from people traveling through and asking questions. Just had talks with 2 gentlemen this week, which pass through Freeport all the time, looking for these chargers to be available. And they told me that these will be the best units between Chicago and Dubuque.
Well done.
Could you share the name of that app again?
It's ChargePoint. ChargePoint is like one of the leaders in the charging industry. And again, I wanted to point out that we specifically picked ChargePoint because they're a nationwide vendor. They're a name in the business. They're not going anywhere. So we didn't want to get into a unit that might not be able to be serviced. Thayer Energy out of, I believe it's Belvedere, who's one of our partners. They're actually a retail warranty a distributor of them. So when there's issues, they'll get notification as well too that something's not working correctly, so it can be fixed. It's a complete package, and we also have the software as part of the package that Michelle's group and Public Works has to facilitate the finances and the payments and the operation of the utilities. So, and the cost structure we came up was just an average cost structure to start with Freeport. I think it's very fair and will be advantageous to people using it.
Fire.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Police.
Nothing, ma'am.
And library.
Thank you, Your Honor. The new library director, Emily Schaub, starts next Monday, February 23rd. We are all looking forward to her arrival. Thank you all for your support of me as interim director and your continued support of the library. And I will see you again in September for my annual summer reading wrap-up.
And we always look forward to that. IT. City manager.
I have one thing, and I am often surprised pleasantly with how competent and hardworking our staff here at the city is. That not only goes for everybody in this room, but everybody that works for the city. One case in point, we had an issue with the aircraft refueler. We have a very good lease arrangement that saves the city a tremendous amount of money on that. But we had an ongoing issue, and it was causing a back siphoning in fuel, and nobody could figure it out. And I just want to thank our mechanics specifically tonight for the work that they put into diagnosing a very difficult problem and solving it when other professionals could not. So thank you.
I have nothing new to share. Alderman Johnson.
Yes, this Thursday we have our neighborhood watch meeting at 3002 Farmdale Lane at 6:30 p.m.
Alderman Stevens.
I don't have anything. Thank you.
Alderman Parker.
Yeah, our neighborhood watch meeting is next Monday night on Laurel Street, where it's always been. Thank you.
Alderman Stacy.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Alderman Shadle.
Just would like to add to the neighborhood watch list. It should be scheduled for March 5th, but we're going to move that. The police officer and myself both have something going that night. It's going to move to the second Thursday, which would be March 12th at Schwartz on Park Boulevard.
Alderman Sanders.
Nothing.
Alderman Sellers.
Nothing.
Alderman Clem.
I'd just like to give out a shout out to Pat Ingram that's in the audience tonight. Pat, thank you and all your crew for all the extra work you've done on the leaf pickup and everything lately. We've really ran into trouble with weather and all that and a bunch of issues, but I know the guys were out sweeping today and the guys were out also picking up the leaves and stuff, and thank you for continuing to make the effort. People appreciate it.
Item number 28 is public comment. Is there, Tommy?
I wanted to thank you for bowling on the town down there. And Darren, you did a good job with it. And Jody Miller, you did a good job with the mayor.
Yes, sir.
Hi, everyone.
If you could please state your name.
I'm Mike Oldinger. I moved in here. I've got an answer for your raccoons. I just got done with a groundhog that took a year to solve. Put some mothballs out.
I did that.
Put some vinegar out.
I did that.
I'm an old school certified chimney sweep by the Chimney Safety Institute of America. I was called repeatedly about animal infestation. I have an answer for you, Rob, in regards to you mentioning that if we have another cold winter, we're not going to have one. Yale Climate just said that January was our warmest on record for global temperatures. In the past 3 years, we have reached a milestone, the hottest 3 years on record. We're going to have periods of, yes, cold and warm. But that is a problem that our government has doled us with weather modification. It's out of control. From radar, from these cell towers all around that you folks had put in, or you went to the telecommunication companies came and talked to you folks and put them in. I came here for 3 FOIA Freedom of Information in regards to finding out what is going on, and you folks have no clue. there is a chimney of emissions going directly up towards the clouds. One of the reasons why we have all different kinds of clouds now, because we're basically electrifying our atmosphere. So folks, be prepared. You're the fire chief?
Yes, sir.
It's going to get worse. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Because you're right in the front lines. So folks, I got a question for all of you sitting here. Last year in the fall, we had some of the most ridiculous amount of smoke coming down from Canada. The fires are burning right now in the ground. The amount of wood fire load that we have, or Canada has up there, is incredibly overwhelming. So now that we're going to have this dry environment, again, weather modification, with all of this particulate matter up in the air, electrifying it, what's your next plan for it getting really smoky and people calling the chief here? Truthfully, you don't have a plan.
Thank you, sir. Your time has expired.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll be back. But take care of the raccoons. Literally. Thank you, folks.
Are there any other public comments? Next, we have item number 29, which is executive session. Madam Clerk, could you please read this for the record?
Pursuant to 5 ILCS 122C5, the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the public body, including meetings held for the purpose of discussing whether a particular parcel should be acquired.
Thank you. Is there a motion to enter into executive session?
So, second.
We have a motion made by Alderman Sellers, seconded by Alderman Shadle. Madam Clerk, could you please take the roll?
Johnson?
Aye.
Simmons? Was that an aye? Parker?
Aye.
Stacy? Aye. Shadle?
Aye.
Sanders?
Aye.
Sellers?
Aye.
Clem?
Aye.
The motion passes 8-0.